it's time for us to finally start. Introductions can go on later, but let's quickly get into the business of the day. So my name is Bukola Ijoma. So I am a naturopath, a herbalist, and I'm also the founder of BioNaturals. And okay, so I'll give a brief introduction about myself for those that do not know, that has not come across or heard about me. So I got into the herbal space or into the natural space because of a personal experience. So I lost my dad suddenly. And along the line, they told us that because he was using a particular painkiller, and truly my dad was using, he had a bag of medicines. And he was having arthritis pain. I believe right now with my knowledge, I understand that what he was going through was arthritis pain. And so he was using a particular painkiller and he was told not to use, not to continue, but he said he couldn't stop because the pain was unbearable. So eventually it affected his organs and he just suddenly died. And that was a wake up call for him because I studied biochemistry and in all of my years before then, I'd never imagined or heard of it that medicine could hurt us. And that was like a wake-up call. So I started doing research, and then I found out that there was a whole world of natural medicine, and there was a whole world of things that I did not know about medicine. And this is how this was in 2014. By 2015, I changed the direction of my business. Before then, I used to go to Turkey, bring in clothes, introduce companies to Nigeria, blah, 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 and then do business generally. I wasn't even practicing my biochemistry until this happened. So my next trip to Turkey in 2015, I told my partners that, hey, I'm not doing clothes. This is what I want to do. At that time, I already had a list of both herbs, essential, different supplements, different health products that would help people, because my main aim as at that time was that my mom, who of course was already having some of these symptoms that my dad was having, that first she never goes through, because I could not imagine having to lose my mom after losing my dad. So my main aim was to make sure that this didn't happen to my mom, and then didn't happen to anyone that I know, and including me. So it was a mission, it was a calling for me as far as I'm concerned. And since 2015, in 2015 with my partners, we started MC Herbal then, and then so I used to import herbal products. We did some minor training with Turkish people, did research, and it was easy to just sell herbs. So then I started as a herb, not just herb, essential oils, fruits, dried food, different things that I brought, healthy things, that improve health. And of course, we were doing well. Then COVID happened, and then I was forced to start studying, of course, because we couldn't import, we couldn't do it. I didn't really know what to do because I was used to bringing in foreign herbs into Nigeria. So I really didn't know anything about Nigerian herbs. So along the line, of course, I started taking structured courses during COVID online. Of course, most of these courses were foreign courses, and I was paying a lot of money to learn. And after COVID, at some point, I was introduced to Unilag, their pharmacognosy department, and the present dean then invited me that I should come for their herbal medicine diploma program from advanced. Since I already had experience, said there was no need for me to do the diploma, I should just do the advanced. And from there, they had a master's program. I heard about their master's program in herbal medicine. I got into it. And on and on and on. I have not stopped learning. So when it comes to this kind of, especially things related to health, like herbal medicine, naturopathy, complementary, anything you're calling yourself, you have to keep learning and keep educating people. So my main aim right now, apart from all of that, of course, I started the business we do, and of course, I started my consultation presently, BioNaturals, which started after COVID, which now presently we clinical services, like we offer consultation, we offer herbal solutions in different forms, and so I've seen a lot in this field that brought me to this point where I feel like, okay, it's time to begin to educate people. So that is that on my brief introduction. I don't want to take too much time, so I have to control myself with my written documents. So far, I hope everyone is following and enjoying my conversation. I really would love some thumbs up. I would love some support. as I'm speaking, let me know that, let me get it that you are following me, be giving me those that's when I will know. You know, this is different if we're having a physical class. So, but if I'm not, if I don't want to just be like a radio or a television that's just talking and you're also, thank you, thank you, thank you. I see all of that. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your thumbs up. Okay, good. All questions. So before we go ahead, let me just say that let's have a structured time together. So based on that, every question, if you have questions or any, just hold on to the end. Just put your questions in the chat. Put your question in the chat section. We'll answer it when I'm done with all my conversation. And yes, you are, it's a safe place, and you're going to learn, because I am going to be sharing special things. I'm going to be sharing something special at the end for those who gets to the end of the session. You know, so now let's talk about herbal medicine. I know some of us, maybe I should ask if some of us are I see herbalists, so no need to ask. I know that we have people who are already in that space, practicing natural medicine and all of that. But I would like to start with the problems. Why most herbal medicines we use fail. And then before I start that, there's a question I would like to ask, which you can just show me, answer me. Is there anyone here that has used herbs at some points and it didn't work, or customer problem, or just had problem with it? Anybody, just quickly answer, write it in the chat session before I go ahead. I just want to know the kind, maybe I'm just talking to gurus that know how to use herbs, they get it all, or people who want to who have been using it and it's not working and they want to just give me answers in the chat session. Quickly. Let's go ahead. Come on now. Do we have anybody that has used herbs and it has not worked? Okay, that didn't work for you. Thank you, herbalist. Thank you, my co-herbalist. Let's see. I have a problem with dosage. Okay, I use King of Bitters. And how did King of, don't worry, we'll just at the end of the day. Okay, thank you. So you tell me how King of Bitters work for you, please. Before I forget, make sure you take notes at the end of the day. Don't break up or kill you. You don't know if it's okay. Thank you. I think I've gotten the answers that I want to. So some of these things happen for reasons. It's not your fault most times. It's just an education issue. Knowledge issue. So I'll start by saying some of these problems. Now, the mistakes that people do about herbs is why they don't work, why herbs don't work. Is basically because sometimes you are mixing random leaves together. So you just hear that this will do this will do that. You just pick it. You don't even know if they are good together, if they are going to support themselves, or even, we have cases where herbs can be synergistic. We have cases where they can antagonize themselves, and you have cases that it can be toxic or even just not work at all. So you need to really know how to, because most days now, I say a lot of things on the internet, people are posting things. Anyway, we'll get to that before. So herbal combinations, they are normally called formulations most times, and requires logic. It actually requires sense because it's chemicals. Funny enough, they're essential. What you do when you mix, actually, it's almost like they say, what's that song that I say, what you put chemical? What's that song? That they're mixing chemicals. So the truth is that when you start mixing herbs together, you are also mixing chemicals. So you need to understand these chemicals before you start. So it requires logic, it requires understanding for you to be able to do that successfully and get results. So that's mistake number one. Mistake number two is people copying recipes from social media, and that's very funny. That's one of the reasons why I am here today, because the truth is that if people that know don't come out and start talking, people will keep listening to what people don't know about, and they'll just go. I've seen people. I have one of my colleagues who's an expert in stroke and arthritis, and she was telling me that some of our clients, some people from our church, they called her. A particular woman called her. I was like, oh, all her body's on fire. Pepper. She's having heartburn. She's having pain. And she said she saw online on video that they said you should. I don't even know whether it's infused different pepper in oil, or I can't even remember the story. Different forms of pepper, and be taking it twice daily. She was going to die. This was actually going to kill her. but somebody posted it. Now, another thing is most of the information you get online, when somebody comes and say, oh, when you use this, you treat this, you use this, is half truth. Because you know what? The person that is saying that story doesn't even know your own specific case, does not know the conditions you are actually experiencing or what you're facing, does not know whether you are using any medication or not. So there are a lot of factors to be considered before you just take a story. I mean, somebody's use this, use that, use that. There are so many things. There's even the cases of what's dosage. Like I see somebody say dealing with dose. There are cases of that. So a lot of factors are to be considered, but people just take those things and go and work with it. And at the end of the day, so it's good that herbal knowledge is growing, but then we have to do it with knowledge and with understanding. So a recipe without context, incomplete formulation, it actually can be dangerous. Incomplete, half information, like that's what I tell people. I say most of these things, some is just half truth. I have case of somebody who said, okay, they watched a video, they say use this herbal herbs, use this herbs for high blood pressure, and that person really went to use it, and maybe the first day, second day, it actually brought her blood pressure down, and then she thought, oh, she's found a solution to her high blood pressure, and she kept using it and ignored all the other medications she was using, and eventually, by the time that thing, the blood pressure issue came back, it was so high that she was almost entering stroke. Why? Because there are a lot of factors to consider. When you are having conditions, there, is what's somebody can be, the doctor can diagnose 2 people for high blood pressure. But guess what? What is causing this person's high blood pressure will definitely be different from what is causing the other person's high blood pressure. So you need to know which one, and it's based on the course that you are dosing. It's based on the course that you'll be deciding which herb works for which herbs. So most times people are doing what we call, with that, sometimes it's just symptomatic treatment, which does not give you detail. Like my dad was using painkiller that time just to relieve the pain, but it wasn't solving the problem. Instead, it was causing more damage, because when you are having certain symptoms, it's your body that is just crying out to you. It's crying out. So those symptoms are just symptoms, but your inner body, your organs are crying out, are giving you signs that we need attention in this place. We need attention in this. It's not for you to silence that voice is telling you by just using something that will make you to stop feeling headache or feeling. Find out which system, So that's another mistake. Copying social media. The problem is the post doesn't know your health history, etc. It doesn't know your medications. It doesn't know your body type, or what's actually going on inside of you. So having that is half truth, like I said. So the third mistakes people make is ignoring contraindication. That is the truth. In fact, as medicines, any pharmaceutical medicine you go, there's contraindication. That's the same way. Your herbs, because they are still chemical, whether you like it or not, they are still working as chemical. So they have to be you have to know contraindications. For example, pregnant person has what she should use and what she should not use. Child has what an elderly person has. All these things you need to understand. And some herbs cannot be used with some medications. All this has to be known before you start. Like somebody is using high blood pressure medication or diabetes medication, and then you are giving, like I remember that period, my dad had a bag of medicine. At the same time, some people will still come and give him herbs, which he will still use sometimes to So these things can cause, there's something called contraindication even in herbal medicine. And we have come to the point where people have to know, because I've seen a whole lot of things. I've seen people in my consultation room that their biggest problem was that they use this, use that, and then that complicated their problem, and it brought them to state of emergency. And when people are brought into state of emergency, you just direct them to the hospital to go and use the emergency situation, because that's what I believe that this other medicine should be for emergency. That's our conventional medicine, but it shouldn't be what it should be depending on, So ignoring contraindication is another problem that people have. Most people have never heard of the word contraindication in the context of herb, yes. And that gap in knowledge is very serious. So then the fourth one is assuming that natural is equals to safe. Assuming that because it is natural, then it means safe. Like I know there's this particular herbal herb that is added into, if you go to this Alagua, you tell them to do JD medicine for you. It's part of what they use. And this herb has been researched to have bad kidney effects. I mean, to damage your kidney, to have a negative effect. But people are taking it, and some of these people will not even go and make some medication. We have people who put paracetamol in their herbal. There's a lot of, I mean, that's dangerous. That brings us to the contraindication, and that means overloading the liver and the kidneys and all of that. So assuming that herb is safe, so because it's natural, it's safe, that's another big mistake. And that's why the medical world or the conventional world will always tell herbal medicine people that you are doing rubbish. So I'm here today to teach us or to bring to our own awareness these issues that need. So for those of us that are already practicing and those who are lovers of herbal medicine and are hearing use this, use that, and I use it, that's why I'm here today, so that we can begin to educate ourselves and avoid mistakes, avoid situations that can worsen your conditions or worsen your client's conditions. And so these are conversations that should keep going on within ourselves and within our communities. So don't assume. You need to understand everything about a particular herb before you use it. You need to be able to do a research on a particular herb before you even put it on your body, or before you give it to somebody else, before you use it, or before you give it to somebody else. You need to know everything about that herb. So know whether it's safe. Some herbs can be taken for a short period of time. Some herbs can be taken for a long period of time. You need to know which category of herbs that you are using. So now that's just few of the mistakes. Of course, there are more, but we have to just streamline everything because we have I don't want to do more than 1 hour in this. So, so another reason why most herbal remedies fail. Other reasons. One is wrong herbs for the condition. This is another reason why herbs don't work. The first one was mistakes. Now let's talk about the reason why those herbs are not even working. Why is number one, people use wrong herbs for conditions, for the conditions you're experiencing. People reach out to what they have heard. Like I said, you hear something on the internet about a particular condition and you go and use it. But you don't even know what that herb is actually doing. You don't know the property of that herb. It can work for somebody, you think you have the same condition with that person because what is doing that person, that herb is addressing that property. But what is doing you, the herb is not addressing. So you will be using it and it will not work. So there are hundreds of herbs and specific purpose matters. So you need to know about that. The wrong preparation, this is also very important. So some people would even know that, yes, this herb, some of them get it right. This herb, you are good for this, good at, but you really need to understand how to prepare these herbs to actually get the medicinal value. There are some herbs that you can do as a fusion. That's the one you have as tea, the way you just make a tea, because they don't need too much heat. There are some that you have to cook. We call it decock. You have to, because it needs more heat and longer heat for the medicinal value, for the constituent in those herbs to come out for it. So sometimes if you do what you're supposed to decock and you infuse it, you will take it to not work because the medicine in the herb is not out yet. So then you come and say, this thing is not working. And then the process, so that's what some has to be infused in alcohol. So because you see, the thing about herbs is that there are a lot of constituents in herbs. And some herbs are lipophilic. That means they love lipids, they love oils. Not just herbs, I mean the constituents. So you have to understand what property, which of the constituents, you might need to understand which of the constituents of the herb that you are looking for to give you that result you want it to give you. And if you understand it, you want to also know, is it oil? Is it mixing it in oil that will give you that result? Or is it mixing it in water, alcohol, or just juicing it? You have to understand how this works, based on that before you can now decide, or else you are just guessing. You are just doing guessing. So you might just be loading yourself with something. Okay, if you infuse, for example, you need something, maybe a property you actually need is a lipophilic, so you need to infuse it in oil. And you put it in water, you infuse in water. You will get some other properties. It might give you an effect that maybe those properties are something you don't even need. For example, let's say, okay, somebody who already deals with low blood pressure now starts taking a herb that has blood pressure lowering effects. And these effects can be achieved. We have herbs that is when you infuse it inside water, that it will give you that effect of low blood pressure. Some, when you infuse inside oil, you will not get that property. So now, if you now infuse it in water, when you're supposed to infuse it in oil, you will find out that your blood pressure is normally already on the low side. You will find out that person's blood pressure will even go lower. So it's important. I mean, I'm saying this basically to even practitioners already. You need to be more detailed for us, because really, why is this thing necessary at this time? We're in a time where a lot of us know, a lot of you that are here, because you are here because it's all natural medicine, herbal medicine, and that shows that you are looking for something alternative to the conventional you have. And it's not just you, the world. Look at what happened in COVID period. And now they're saying another pandemic is going to come. So we need to read. And of course, there's now the demand for natural medicine. The program I did in Unilab was sponsored by WHO. Now they are looking into, they are giving permissions. They are now infusing herbal medicines and complementary medicine, integrative medicine into health system. So if we are going to do these things, let's do it right. That's why I'm here today. And that's why I'm bringing out these things for you to begin to think in this direction. This is not just so that we are becoming solutions, not problems. Because the truth is that the conventional medicines may not be able to take care of some of these things that we are facing right now. So we need to go back to nature. But you need to know how to use nature to get the effect, so that we don't end up being like these same people that these same other medicines that we are saying is not working, or they're just managing health conditions. We don't want to use herbs to manage health conditions. So wrong preparation, you need to know what you're preparing. If you need to prepare it in a tincture form, in capsule forms, if you need to get an extract before you even put it in capsule, if you need to just put the leaves in the capsule, there are some herbs that you need to extract for it to become very active, and then dry it and put it in your capsule. But there are some herbs that you don't try. For example, somebody said she used king of bitters. I would not even recommend that you go and do extract of king of bitters, because it's too strong for you to now extract it and put it in capsule. So these are things that we need to know about. And some herbs, you just need to use topical applications for it. So you need to know the way to use it to achieve your aim. Now, another wrong thing people do is treating symptoms. I think I mentioned that, and not root cause. Most times, what you are seeing, what you are manifesting is just symptoms. It's not the root cause. And most times you have to understand systems where those symptoms you are seeing, you need to understand what it is pointing at. Yes, as practitioners, as people who care about health, you need to understand those symptoms you are seeing. Which of the system is crying out? Which part of the body is crying? Not that symptom. So most times people just try to deal with it. It's just like headache, for example. Headache is just a sign that something is not right. Maybe your nervous system, maybe your digestive system, or even your immune system. Something is just, some level of inflammation is going. It could be any of those three things that will cause it. Now, when you now take those, you just see the headache, and then you just find, oh, somebody said major used to cure headache, and you go and use it. That's king of bitters used to cure headache, and you go and use it without investigating the cause of that headache. Even if that thing has an analgesic effect to stop that headache, it has not stopped where the problem is coming from. And because you silence, and that's the same thing the conventional medicine will do to you, because when you use it, you tell your body, shut up, and then continue let the problem continue, but shut up, stop making noise in my ear, without asking it, what are you saying? So we have come to the point for herbal medicine, herbal medicine should actually be treating root cause, not symptoms. That's what herbal medicine, it works best when you understand what you are treating. So it's also very important to understand the disease or what you are dealing with, how it's operating, So it's important to understand all of that before. But these mistakes are things that people do. They treat symptoms, not root problems, not the root cause. So, and then the biggest mistakes when combining herbs. Okay, so herb combination or formulations are actually one of the most powerful aspects of herbal medicine, and that's the truth. Combining it can give you a lot of things if you understand what you are actually combining. There are herbs that have synergistic. There are herbs that have synergistic effects. So that means herbs that you combine together, they will support themselves and give you powerful results. They will give you solid results, give you good results because of their combination. For example, now turmeric. If you have to use turmeric and you want to get the best effect, you have to combine it with herbs like black pepper. You have to combine it with black pepper. You get for the active ingredient in the turmeric to become available, to become bioavailable to you, you need to add some herbs and a couple of other herbs. I mean, some herbs work as synergistic herbs. So combination of it will give you great results than just using one. You know, we also have herbs that antagonize each other. For example, in this case now, we have herbs like okay, let me even give you a scenario. So because people combine herbs, I mean, I hear some kind of things, I'm like, come on now, why now? Now somebody will take bitter leaf and still combine it with aloe vera. Now bitter leaf is a strong bitters. Aloe vera is strong bitters, but aloe vera has a mucilaginous. So aloe vera is supposed to have a cooling property. Why bitter leaf is supposed to have a hot property, like, you know, to help bring down both of them. But you see, when you use them together, they will just cancel each other's work. Funny enough, they will just cancel each other's work and may just not work for that person or whatever you are using it for. So there's something like antagonizing each other that you don't need. You also have to know about your herbs before you use it. And then you have a combination that can become toxic because, like I said, you're dealing with chemicals and you're dealing with their active ingredients, which are chemicals. So imagine putting chemical plus chemical. You might stand a chance of having them good. You might have, you know what chemicals are? Some will say acid and base. Okay, they'll give you salt. You know, a lot of chemical reactions go on. If like you can put some or two chemicals together that will cause fire. You know, all those kind of things. And that's the same thing. Even though they are herbs, they're still chemicals. So they can become toxic or simply become inactive. And then, so we also have, and you know, when you talk about, like I said, it's chemical. So some of these herbs that you use, even in combination with your drugs, there are some herbs that people use, like for example, ginger, garlic, you know, they are good herbs. When you combine them together, solid herbs, they can help to increase circulation, they can help to fight microorganisms, blah, blah, blah. But now, and it will do very good for somebody who is not on thinning blood medications, because these herbs already have these properties. And somebody is now using, I've seen, and that's why you have some cases and that's why when you want to go for surgery, they will advise you not to use herbs, some particular herbs, or don't even use herbs, because some of them have these blood thinning things. That means your blood, that person will keep bleeding. Like I've seen a case of a woman who gave birth, and you know, her blood, she kept bleeding and they couldn't stop. They gave her the factor that stops the bleeding could be, they gave her, and when they investigated, it was a lot of herbs she was using. So you have to know how these herbs work, what they do, when to stop using, or when to continue, or if to continue. All these information are informations that you have to know about herbs for you to be able to use it appropriately. So I have talked so far. I also still need to see those thumbs up. Am I still flowing? Are you still enjoying my conversation, or am I just talking stories? Let me see your thumbs up. Thank you. And some comments in the comment section too. If I'm doing a good job, thank you. Okay, you know, I need this encouragement once in a while. You need to be there so that I don't feel discouraged and the energy drop. I know you don't want that energy to drop because we still have quite a lot of things to talk about. Okay, so thank you for all the love. So as I was saying, so you have to watch which herbs to combine, to use or not to use. And then, so I'm not saying all of this is for it to scare you actually, because truly formulating herb works. They do, but you need to, what I'm just saying is get the right knowledge to do these things confidently. You know, now let's talk about body systems. I've mentioned it in brief. Now we have the digestion, we have inflammations, and we have the different system. At the root of most diseases, there's either a digestive issue or inflammation, and they are all connected, funny enough. And it could be happening, inflammation could be happening in the nervous system, it could be happening in the urinary, in the reproductive system, different system of the body. So you need to know, like I said, when your body is giving you a sign, first of all, identify, you need to understand these diseases or these issues and the language the body is speaking to you. So now this is for you as a practitioner, as a parent, as somebody who just wants to help his family. When you see situations, for example, in my house, when I see certain things with my children, I know what it is. I know the system I want to address. Not just most of my clients. When it comes to me, it can be saying, "Oh, I'm having frequent headache. I'm not sleeping." In my head, as he's saying all of this, I'm saying, "Okay, what I'm trying to pick is which of the systems of the body," and that's how we naturopathic address health. The conventional medicine just listens to your symptoms and give you what will deal with that symptoms. But naturopathic system understand that the human being is not, they don't just address the disease, they look at the human being as a whole, because they know that the whole systems are connected. So you need to find out which system of the body. For example, I'll use headache. Headache can be a sign from your nervous system. Headache can be a sign of inflammation. Headache can be a sign of a problem in your digestive system. Now, if you go and take herbs that are treating, headache from your from inflammation, and also address that digestive, meanwhile the headache is from your digestive system, that headache may go, but it will still come back. And that's if it goes. Sometimes it may not even go. You will use it because it's not what it needs. So it doesn't go. So we have to understand that you have to identify, you have to, first of all, understand the language of the body, understand the root causes. Where are these symptoms coming from? Like you want to treat high blood pressure. For some people's high blood pressure, it's just simply tension, stress, which is causing inflammation and different things in their body. For some people, it's some nutrient deficiency that is causing it. For some people, it's from the things that they are eating that is causing blockages. Some people, it's just that they are stagnant. There's no movement. So you need to know how to find this out from whoever you're trying to address. Understand which of the systems are you dealing with. Understand which of the systems are you dealing with. And so like normal, before a condition even becomes chronic, which is, I always tell people that I am mainly for prevention of diseases. When we have chronic disease, it has taken years. Your body has warned you before a condition now becomes chronic. It's as simple as that. So I'm here to talk to us more at the stage where it has not even become chronic. Even if it's chronic, there's solution, of course. But so the way to prevent conditions from being chronic is identifying the system that is talking. Because that system is just trying to let you know that, okay, maybe you need to turn us down, maybe overactivity, like your immune system. Sometimes you could have an overactive, an immune system that is overactive. In such cases, you need immune modulators. And you may have a case where you have a slow immune system or a immune system that is on. In that case, you need immune stimulants. So you have to understand the language that these things are talking before that your symptoms or your body is saying, before you now even start thinking about what to use, which herbs to use. Because understand that both the herb and the human body, they speak the same language, they understand themselves. But you also have to know which one you are giving that body, which one the body is saying it wants at a particular time. And so you need to understand body systems and the symptoms that you're seeing, which of the system of the body is coming from. Sorry, give me. So before you reach out for herbs, you must ask, is this the digestion issue? Is it a digestive issue? Is it an inflammatory issue? From which system? What does that system want? Do I need to tone it down? Do I need to activate it? Does it need a detox? So many things you need to understand before you start jumping into just treating symptoms. Herbal medicine is not symptom matching, it's a system understanding. For you to be a successful herbal medicine practitioner, you must understand systems. And in these days, you go to any any well-structured working education system that is teaching you anything about natural medicine, herbal medicine, naturopath, whatever they call it, they always teach anatomy. They always talk about body system. So if you don't know those things, it's important. If you are practicing and you have not understood those things, it's important to go for it and understand it. So because of our time, I'm looking at time. Let's talk about simple herbal formulation that you can make. Some of us already know what to do, and you want to formulate herbal medicine. Like I said, you have different ways. We have infusion, and infusion, that's like tea. Those are the ones you just put your herb and then pour hot water, your boiling water, and allow it. It can be boiling, it can be cold. Sure, you are infusing and allowing the active ingredient to come out into the water. So in that case, the water-soluble compound extracted from that steeping. So like you remember, I told you about hydrophilic, lipophilic. So they are, when you do infused teas, it's those contents that love water. It's those contents that love water that actually would. So, go away, I'm not done. Come sit down. Okay, so okay, so sorry about that. Yes, so that's children. They're waiting for me to be done. So where was I? Okay, so in fusion, you would have the hydrophilic. Those are the particles that likes water. They will come into it, and then you give it time to do that. You infuse, you steep it, and then you sieve and you drink. That's infusion. And there are plant parts that works with infusion. Those ones are the ones that don't need too much heat. So if you take those parts and you begin to cook them, you lose a lot of their medicinal constituents. So we have, this is suitable for leaves, for flowers, and then we have decoction. In the case of decoction, those ones are the ones you actually cook. You leave on fire for low heat to simmer for a longer time. And for those ones, we use cases like roots, barks, seeds. Those ones are the ones that you might need to decoct for their active ingredients to actually come out into the water. So the heat too, you have to manage the temperature or the heat to get them out. So you have tinctures, you have we have alcohol-based extract. This one now, even though we have like infusion, they are hydrophilic, they love water, they come out. Alcohol too is still the same, similar, but alcohol will draw more than water will draw. So alcohol extracts are stronger. They are stronger. So when you are using that, and they have a longer shelf life. So when you are using those ones now, you have to be very cautious of dosing. In all cases, anyway, you have to be cautious of dosing. So, and we also have poultices and compress. Those are the ones that are applied topically. You want the effect, you want it to have effect on the skin, or you want it to get in through the skin. So there are also those ones, or localized areas. There are also herbs, and there are ways to actually do these things too. Some want to do warming, some want to use it cold press applications, depending on the conditions that you are dealing with. The method of preparation, this method of is not just cosmetic, it's not just that people are doing, it determines what you are actually getting, what you get out of the plant. So like I said, the way you extract or the way you use it is what will actually determine what you are getting from the plant. So choosing the wrong preparation method means you may be extracting very little of what you need from the herb, or maybe you are extracting too much, or and that's where your dosing comes in. So, and this is not a matter of guesswork. You don't guesswork. These are things that you have to do research on. You have to search and do research and understand about each plant. See, trust me, somebody will come out. For on high blood pressure alone, you can have 1,000 list of herbs that will bring down blood pressure. That they will tell you brings down blood pressure, but it may not work for one person. You can that same herb, you can use it for 10 people, and maybe one person refuses to work, and it may not. It may work for one person and not work for all the other people. So you have to do your research. You have to understand how, and then you may even do, and it's not working at all. So they may tell you that yes, go and drink zobo leaf for high blood pressure. And you can be drinking zobo leaf, and the person's blood pressure is not coming down, or your own blood pressure is not coming down. It's because there's some kind of knowledge that you have not gotten, and that you need to know before you start using it. So let's stop the guesswork, because we're talking about life here. We have to be more, I believe that people in the health space has to be more detailed, more serious, more, because it's life. It's life. I saw my dad died, and that was what made me now with, and now my dad died in 2014. If I show you the picture of my mom now compared to then, now she's bouncing. When I post her pictures, people are like, is that your sister? She looks a whole younger, like 10 years younger than she was when that happened. And that was just, the change was just information, knowledge. The same thing you can achieve. So, and then just briefly, why natural does not always mean safe. I mentioned one plant that that can affect your kidney. Okay, let me even give you an illustration. So I just finished my master's program, and we did a research on a particular formulation for diabetes. And so we worked on different doses of that herb. Of course, we induced rats with diabetes. And then it was time to treat them. We treated them with different doses. Of course, we had control groups. And we checked, different parameters from the blood. We checked the organs. Do you know that we had some dose of 50 milligram, we had dose of 100 milligram, and we had dose of 200 milligram per kg for that rat, for those group of rats. Now, we found out that the 50 milligram, initially, the first dose we gave it brought down the blood sugar, but the next time, the blood sugar was high, very high. The 100 kept bringing down the blood sugar. The 200 kept bringing down the blood sugar. All of them eventually started having their blood sugar down. So when we finally decided to harvest and check, other parameters through their blood, we found out that the 50 was, okay, because we wanted to check their effect on the kidney, on the liver, and on the pancreas. You would not believe me that the 50 was good, but of course not strong enough because of that effect that is high blood sugar after the first time. That's why I tell you that sometimes if you don't even use the herb properly, it can worsen the situation. Now the 100 was just perfect. All the organs were good. No damage to any of the impact, because when you induce those things, the major thing, you have caused damage to the pancreas and some of these. So, but using those doses that are different for like 21 days. Now, for 100, the kidney was perfect, fixed. The liver was fixed, the pancreas was fixed. But guess what? 200 damaged the kidney, the pancreas, and the liver. Yes, and pancreas. Yeah. So that just tells you that dosing is very important. Now, these herbs are everyday herbs that people use for treatment of one thing or the other. And they will be taking it, thinking, oh, this is normal, this is okay, without knowing, these things, you don't see them. Those damages that come to your organs, you are not seeing it. It's not physical. It's until when it has gone out of hand, you begin to see symptoms. And then, so you really, 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 really have to understand herbs before you begin to use them, especially when you are doing long-term treatments. And you should understand herbs that should be used for long term and herbs that should be used for short term. All this knowledge, and that's what makes herbs. So it can be good, it can be natural, but it doesn't mean it's safe. So dosing, the same herb that is therapeutic in a small amount can become toxic in a large amount. Preparation, some herbs are safe when prepared one way and harmful when prepared another way. That's very true. Like I was talking about this king of bitters. That not even that I remember me. in my pharmaceutical formulations program, class, this is my master's, our lecturer was telling, our prof was telling us that now presently people are abusing neem, and a particular area in Nigeria has high level of neck cancer. And why? Because they are neck and head cancer. Why? Because they are now taking they made I think an extract of neem, and they use it as toothpaste, or they even take, and neem is very strong too. These are things that you cannot use in high dose and continuously. They are strong. They will affect. It will affect your system and organs. So you need to understand. The same thing with this king of bitters too. Somebody will now say, I want to make an extract of king and of bitters. Meanwhile, you just need to drink the tea or find other safe ways. So you need to understand how, or capsule it. Yes, that's what I was saying. Put it in capsule. How to prepare the herbs that you want to use for your formulations or for your treating others. Then individuals, you have what you can use for pregnant people. You have what you can use for people that already have liver conditions. It's not all herbs you can use. For example, now somebody comes to me, first of all, I want to know your kidney, your liver state, your kidney state, all these things. There are certain things that you cannot use, certain herbs you can't use for people that already have those conditions. And their medications, people that are on medications, you have to know all of these things before you say your thing. And so, the children, what you use for children is not the same. So individuality is very important. So that you can't say general, okay, oh, no, they have to be specificity in what you are doing. And of course, duration. I mentioned that some herbs are safe for short time, some are problematic in long time. So you need to understand all of this before. So a responsible herbal practitioner considers all these 4 things. I just wish, I hope that you have your pen taking notes of all of this. Anyway, so a responsible herbal practitioner considers these 4 things before even giving out any herbal medicine to anybody. So, but people who just copy on social media, they don't even consider any of it. They just go ahead and somebody just tells you, go and use this, and then they just go, pump. The person did not even tell you those. Pump, you go. Meanwhile, that person is marketing strategy. Strategy.
Please, can you mention those 4 things again, please?
Those what?
The 4 things you mentioned.
Okay, so those preparation, the individual, and duration of use. You have to consider those things before you can start saying you are formulating anything at all. Now, because of our time, like I said, when it comes to herbal medicine, you can go on and on and on. Even as I am like this, I am still learning. We can't finish everything in a 1-hour class. But the major foundations, the major, most important things are these things that I've talked to you about. So either you are going to find ways to learn it or this. But what I have come now, let's even talk about the bigger picture. The herbal industry in Nigeria and across Africa is growing at a rate that is exciting and concerning at the same time. Yeah, that's the truth. It's exciting that, oh, finally, this our condemned practice is now going. Of course, where we condemned our own herbal medicine in the past, our Chinese counterparts were thriving and growing their economy on traditional Chinese medicine and throwing it around the world. A lot of us use them in Ayurvedic, the Indians too, their Ayurvedic medicine. A lot of us learn on their platforms. You get both in Nigeria, all over the world. These are the ours, but it's time for us now to begin to bring out our own, because the truth is that we have a lot of herbal medicines that are powerful, and we need to begin to know about it. So exciting because, okay, so the reason why it's exciting, people are working, and of course dangerous because now people are also depending on it, and all these safety issues we have quite concerning, because growth without structure, is leading to harm. We're already seeing unregulated products that have not been regulated, products that somebody just wake up in the morning and say, okay, I'm formulating this. We are seeing unqualified practitioners and then we are seeing serious side effects, serious adverse effects that could have been avoided. You know, that's the concerning aspect of this growth. And this is not just important just because of yourself, but for the bigger picture, of course, yourself and your family is also very important. They're strong force, but at the same time, you have to actually look at how this is affecting us as a people, as a nation, as a continent. And we have to get to that point where we are knowing that it is time to do better. It is time for us, because guess what? While we say that the pharmaceutical companies are trying to exploit people, they are making, well, it's really the people that are giving them the opportunity to do that. So even in this your herbal space now, if you don't sit well and take your space with knowledge, and they will still come and take it from you. So it's important that you begin to be a solution, let me just put it like that, and not just problem to your community. Let's stand up now and begin to be that solution that the world needs. Because true, I know that a lot, if I ask that you should write in the chat box experiences with medicines, maybe you or people you know, or how people are living on medication continually is not helping. For example, the common high blood pressure medication, one of the first things it will do for you, that one of the physical things, before that manifests, there are many other things that has gone in your body that you don't know. For men, if you just take your erectile function, it will disappear. For women too, you have low libido. Husband and wife will fight the problem. They will not know that the most cause of the problem is this. So all of this, and now people are beginning to know that there are issues, health issues in the world based on this lifestyle, based on people's lifestyle in the name of civilization, based on medications and all of that. So there have to be people that are preferring solutions. And that's why I love everyone in this place. That's why I'm happy, because that also shows me that we all are trying to be that solution, either for ourselves or for the community or for the larger picture, the world at large. So that's why I'm happy to have you here, and congratulate you that you are interested in learning about this. And so for the future of natural health in Africa, it needs people who understand it properly, not just people who believe in it blindly. So what we are doing today is the foundation, but foundation is only the beginning. Now, based on all of these things I have pointed out, I have decided that, wow. Can you guys hear me? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, you can still hear me, right?
Yes, but your image, video.
Okay, the image has.
Yes.
The image has paused, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so just give me a minute. Let me see if I can rectify that. Can you see me now?
We can hear. Okay, we can see you. We can hear you now.
Yes, we can see and hear you.
Okay, thank you. I don't know. why that happened. It's important that you see my face. I don't want to be talking without you seeing my face. So based on all of these informations that I have shared, and I think that I have come up, I decided that, okay, for us to really achieve this, somebody has to be positioned to give these structures. And based on that, I have come with the, I've put together a herbal medicine training that would enlighten you on all of these points and much more, that would actually get you, it will teach you about these things are content, especially the body system, which is very, very important. If you have the body's language to health, it will talk about herbal formulations. It will teach how to formulate. All these things I have pointed out will be in this herbal training. You will learn complete herbal profile, properties, actions, contraindications, dosage, and all of that. System-based herbalism, your digestive systems, your immune system, your inflammation, hormones, preparation method in food details, how to act with practical demonstration, how to make the different forms in its appropriate formulations, appropriate quantity, dosage, even client safety protocols, questions, more and more, all of these I would actually share after this whole training on the platform. I would share the brochure of what this training will entail. And who is this training for? It's actually for parents who want to move beyond guessing, aspiring practitioners, or practitioners that feel like they still want to learn. Like me, I still, even by next week, I'm still taking another training, from somebody that I also believe that in this area, this person is an expert. So we keep learning, and that's because of the experience, my years from different platforms. That's why I can come together and tell you guys, and of course years of experience too. I can come together and say there's this need. So my main aim is to actually help grow African traditional medicine. That's number one. Help us in herbal medicine, those of us that practice natural health, that get it right. Help reduce the noise that is killing people, because I'm seeing most of the things that some of these people come online and tell you it's causing more problems. It's half truth and it's dangerous. I actually have seen real life people there was one client I had. So she had, at that time, the fibroid just started. Then she found online that they said mix this, mix that, and she started using those things. Eventually, she developed hypothyroidism based on these things and that's because of the information she got, which was half truth. You need to understand your body, the systems. You need to understand the herbs, how to use it, all of these things together, everything put together from the foundation that will get you to a point where you can confidently. So aspiring practitioners, those who want real credentials and real knowledge, the wellness entrepreneur who wants to build on structured foundation. So you want to do formulations, you want to do your own herbal medicines and all of that. You will get to learn how to do it right in this training. And of course, this is the first one that we're having now. This is my first one on herbal medicine. I've been taking other trainings. I know some of you know that in essential oils, which is like the basic. And now after that, I just decided that, okay, let's do herbal medicine, because there's a need for this knowledge to spread. And we cannot, there's a lot. And I'm looking at, so on this call, I know that we have people from different places. So if I'm addressing, I have my own audience, or I have my own clients or my customers in one area, I can't cover everywhere. So we need to spread, we need people that will spread the right things. So if you really know that you want to be among those those pace setters, those people who want to do things in that space right, this program is for you. And what I put together in this program is what has taken me years of study. So now, like I said, I did initially I was studying based on foreign products, foreign herbs, because that was where, of course, it was so easy to learn, because they are structured too. So I learned from structured systems on herbs. But most of these herbs were foreign. and then I got into the Nigerian. So I've combined most of my learnings together, and I've come with this herbal training that would actually empower you to become a knowledgeable and informed herbal practitioner or herbal medicine user, either for your personal self or for your business, or just to help people, your family and people you know. If you really want to do that and you want to stop guessing, you need to be on this watch. And because on this same thing, of course, when it comes to health too, we are not looking for bubu, and that's the matter of fact. I'm not looking for just anybody. I'm not doing this because I want to just raise money. No, I need people who are ready to actually give it time to learn. And for those who have trained with me, they know that you will have to read. So if you are somebody who is not ready to read, just don't bother paying for this training. Now you will read, we'll have conversations, we'll have live classes. Now in this herbal medicine, this program, we're going to take between 4 to 5 weeks. I'm just hoping that by 4 weeks we'll finish it, because I also like to let's do it so that you can get to know it, but it's something that is also self-paced. You can always go back to it, but because of those 4 weeks, 4 to 5 weeks, we would have live sessions. That's another advantage. So most times apart from the lectures I took in class, most of all the other courses and programs are fully online and there's no live sessions. So, but you have live sessions with me where we'll talk about the notes and practical things that, that I have learned in the field, and how to apply, how to actually do your own formulations, many, many benefits I can't even talk about. How to start, like now, whenever I am and I'm talking to somebody comes and I mention or talk about, even just try to help somebody with health, you listen to me, you know that yes, this person knows what she's talking about. You know that yes, this person knows what she's talking about. Well, let's see. Okay. I hope you guys are still hearing me. Thank you. Thank you for all the, because it seems like I'm noticing that my maybe network is showing me low network or something. I don't know. So that's why sometimes I'm joining. So basically, I put together all of this knowledge, and because, like I always say, it's not about just the money, but it's about growing a community of people that know the right thing to do, community of people to help others, people to a community of solution providers. That's what this is all about for me. And so based on all of my knowledge from different aspects and different places, I put this course together. And normally these courses I've taken are courses that if I begin to count how much I have invested in learning that I'm about to pour out, I won't be talking about 1 million. It's as simple as that. What I have spent both in foreign currency and naira. My master's program alone was almost $1 million. I spent more than $1 million for it. That's not to talk about the foreign. So, but I'm now sitting down to what's the essence of all this knowledge if I cannot impact it on people? So based on that, I've come to say, okay, let's have this course. Let's have it at 50,000 for those who are ready to learn. You pay, you have access to my community where we can see and rub minds together. You learn. Who is talking? You learn, Madi, can you mute people? You learn how to actually become.
How much did you say? How much did you say? We didn't hear you.
I said 50,000. 50,000.
Okay.
Yeah, 50,000. That's like chicken change compared to what I have spent and the information I'm about to give. So I want to round up so that we can have place for, this is already past 1 hour, so that we can have place for conversation. These conversations will continue. Of course, on the platform, I will drop the brochure so that you can get to see what in details you will learn and have more information about the training. But here today, I've actually come to bring to light those things that we need to become knowledgeable about when we are trying to use herbs. It's not just to go and start using herbs. It's not just to be guessing on herbs. It's for you to understand these values, these things that you need to know before you start. So on that, I want to say thank you for being here today. The fact that you showed up tells me that you are really interested in either in health and even helping others and knowing how to use herbs. So thank you. I am looking forward to seeing some of you in my class. Let's go and become change makers. Let's go and become solution providers. On this note, I open the floor for questions. Questions. Let's do that for like 10 minutes before we call it a day. Yeah, is somebody talking? Yes, your voice is very low, very, very low. Okay, hello, ma. You are sounding very far away.
Okay, hello. Do you have a physical meeting?
No, it's online. So presently they are online. Presently our trainings are online.
Okay, everything is online.
Yes, everything will be online.
And it's for 4 weeks?
Yeah, 4 weeks.
Every day?
No, it's going to be a lot. No, it can't be every day. So we would have one day or depending, or 2 days, depending on how I see, because I want us to actually, I want that conversation. I want us to have it in that 4 weeks. So if I feel like we need to have maybe twice in a week, yeah, like two, yeah, ordinarily, when you read your notes, you read that you have questions, you can always reach out to me and ask, or during our sessions, we ask questions based on what you have read, based on your experiences and all of that. So, but at least in a week, we'll have one live session that will discuss the notes and then practical applications of these things. And of course, the days that we have to have practicals, I mean, like when we are doing formulations and all of that, we would also do that. So,
okay, thank you. I'm in anyway.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
I have a question. Yes, I want to ask. I want to ask if it's possible.
Go ahead.
I want to ask. Yeah, I want to ask if it's possible to consult. Yes. I mean, be a practitioner, a real practitioner, without introducing spiritism. Because
why not?
I know that herbs work. These are plants and they have active ingredients. I know they work because I use them. But you see, when it comes to consulting, and you call it herbal medicine, or some people are going to come with ailments that well, depends on your belief that the herbs may or may not work. So is it possible to practice or to consult without adding, should I call it African magic? Very funny.
So in the class, so one of the things I would discuss and I will talk about is this thing you are mentioning. Now, what is really, I will talk about it from the angle of a Christian. And of course, based on your belief, the truth is that even the practices that we had with our ancient fathers, there's just a basic concept. You see, those are the interesting things about this whole thing. It's just a basic concept. It's a concept which we will discuss in details. Yeah, that really, I mean, if you are taking my essential oil course, there's a spiritual side to it.
What is even in the Bible? Concept? I don't understand. What do you mean by concept? You said basic concept.
There's some, okay, when even in the Bible, okay, let me just give you an illustration. In the Bible, what did Jesus say? He said, the words that I speak, they are spirits. Right? So you are saying spiritism. What is spiritism? Exactly. So what is really the spiritism? You know, so yes, actually, as part of naturopathic medicine or even natural medicine, we believe in you have to operate on a particular, so that has to do with you as a practitioner and your faith that we would have in the class is not even for here. There are more, I mean, we'll talk more about it in the
thank you.
But trust me, you're welcome. So next person, Dr. Abigail Karim. Adegboye Ogutoyi. if there are questions on the platform, Imade, please let me know so that I can answer
Good
them.
evening. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you very much for the presentation. At least you did wonderfully well in the explanation. Yeah, I've gone to several training because I'm just preparing myself to go into this naturopathy fully. But I don't want to be a medocrat. I want to prepare myself and fully have knowledge to face this profession, because I believe it's a new profession emerging and we need to know what it takes to revolve with it. But this training that you are organizing, I'm interested, yes. But I just want to know, at the end of the 4 weeks or 5 weeks training, is there going to be quiz or examination, and are you going to
Yes,
issue a
if not even at the
certificate?
end of the 5, each session there's quiz, because you are going to earn a certificate. And it's not just that you have, because at the end of the day, even as an institute, they will, before they can say, okay, yes, you are giving out proper training, they will see the course outlines. Before they can even say, oh yeah, this is a good institute that we can give this level of guide. I mean, your outline, what are you really teaching people? Are people qualifying before you even release them? So yes, for each module, you have to answer questions. Now we have entered serious, serious when it comes to, we're not playing. So before I can issue, because I want to actually get people that know their work. I don't want people to say, I finished from Herbal Medicine and they're doing rubbish, spoiling my name. So you have to, yes, you must answer quiz and pass. Very important before we even give you certificates. Okay. So next person.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening.
I would really say I'm really grateful. One person that have always wanted to do this, basically because I usually see myself in the dream doing it, but I wake up not remembering anything, honestly. And then I've spoken to a couple of people and they're like, okay, you need to get to some certain level before you can do it. And even if it is something that God has destined you to do, the dispensation which we live in now, you cannot just be relying only on what you are told in the dream or what you are not told in the dream. You also need to school. You also need to know more. So I've always wanted to go through it, and I've been praying about it, and I'm asking God who exactly would teach me. And truth be said, just like you said, people who do it are not based in Nigeria. We don't have a lot of people actually teaching this in Nigeria. It has to be in Ghana, India, China, and some of us don't have money for this. I would really say that this is a great opportunity, and I'm grateful to be part of this, and I'm grateful to meet you, honestly. I am happy to be part of this class, and I would say that I am in. By God's grace, let's see what God brings out from each and every one of us from this. Thank you.
Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes.
Please hold on.
Okay, so yeah. Loving, do you have a question? Somebody say,
yes, please, I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, Ma, thank you so very much for the presentation. It was a very eye-opening one, and I really appreciate you for creating the platform for us to get to hear all those many things you have mentioned. I've been a herbal enthusiast, and just like the last speaker said, I've also been looking forward to seeing a platform where I can learn and be certified. You understand? So my question is, after the training, what are we going to qualify as? What are we going to be calling and addressing ourselves as? And also, for the formulations.
Go ahead.
Did you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear
and
you.
Also, because of the training, I'm I'm primarily interested in fertility formulations, a kind of help that will be helping women who are trying to conceive. That's my area of interest, even though I also want to learn the other parts of herbal formulations. So fertility formulations and herbal medicine that can help with infections, because I have a whole lot of people, young people around me that have different complaints of different kind of infections. You understand? So I don't know, all these covered in the training. So in summary, my question is, what are we qualifying as? The certification you're going to give us, will it qualify us as what? Can we use it to practice freely, not being afraid of NAFDAC? I know you will have to register your products, right? But if you present that we learned herbal medicine under your organization, we like an institution like NAFDAC accepts it as a full-blown institution that is qualified to train someone in herbal medicine. That's my first question. And then secondly, will the training cover fertility herbs and herbs that also help with curing infections? So those are my two questions, Ma. Thank you very much.
All right. So first of all, even I as I am now, people can call me doctor, but I will tell you I'm not a doctor. People call me doctor because I help them get better. But I can become a doctor if I now do a doctorate in naturopathic medicine, or I go and do PhD. Right now, you cannot say you're a herbal practitioner or herbal medicine practitioner based on your. Now we have in Nigeria people who do not even learn anything; they just learn from their forefathers, from their fathers, from their lineage, or just went to learn something. And they are in Unilag. When I said that we had the program, they take as long as you are practicing herbal medicine. So when you finish this program, you'll be certified as somebody who had completed a herbal medicine a herbal medicine program. Now, the knowledge you have, the thing about this herbal medicine is not about when I started practicing herbal medicine. It was just, when you start learning, you don't need somebody to come and tell you to practice before you practice, because you are going to start from. So like I said, knowledge, what you will learn with me now is not the end. You keep learning. That's the simple truth. It's something that like I said, by next week, I'm going to be taking a training with an expert who is in treating arthritis and stroke. And why? Because she has a record of helping people from those countries. So I will now go put myself, after all of I've learned, I have knowledge about this, but I want to know how this person is doing this things. I will still go and pay her money, much more than what I'm paying people now. So generally, you can become a herbal practitioner with the knowledge you have from me, and it should not be in paper. People are always running for certificates and paper. It's what you do that will speak, what you know that will actually put you out. Like I have to call me doctor. I am not if you ask me, I can never introduce myself to you as a doctor for now, actually, because I'll get it. I would never introduce myself, but because of what I have done to them, because of how I have helped them improve their health, they will simply call me that. So now you don't have you have business with NAFDAC when you are producing products. That's where you have business with NAFDAC. And that one you have to be defending.
Can I add to that, please?
No, your formulations. When you are done, I give you license to practice. And that's a government thing. It's not I'm not the one. But what you will take there is this certificate. Do you understand? So, and this is just a first step. Now, finally, you asked about fertility. You see, in this training, if you heard what I said mostly, you have to understand fertility. When you understand the body system, you see, when I'm done training you, you will formulate, you are by yourself will be the one to see that. You don't even have to listen to what, okay, this person come and say this works. Yes, you can do that. That's also another way to practice. But what you do is when you have such formulas, you will be able to say, because some people will conjure different things because of fertility issues. And then even if they achieve that particular they can cause another problem because they do not have an idea what they are put together, what is doing. So I am training you, first of all, to understand herbs and how to apply it, to what it's doing to your body. So, and part of what we will talk about is material medical for the reproductive system. Now, if what I will teach, by the time I'm done with you on this particular aspect, you can then now decide that you want to know more, you want to, there's static, but I can promise you that you would know what to do when it comes to, because you see this infection you're talking about self. You have to look, you cannot just go and say, okay, this is what is manifesting even in your infection. What are these things that you're seeing with the infection? So there are many, and these are, so I'm bringing to you the basic what you need to first of all know. I mean, if you want to become a specialist in the clinic, in the hospital, maybe you want to become a neurosurgeon or something, you have to first of all do your first year undergraduate, general knowledge. And that's how this is. Well, this is it. Funny enough, that's what is without you having that general foundation knowledge, you can't become specialist.
Yeah.
Do you get? So it's a process. So the first thing, the most important thing is this one I want to tell you is what you need to know first. Then, of course, even with it, if you are the type that pick up fast, you can formulate your things. Or, of course, they definitely will get to the point where I may now see the need for.
Can we leave now? Can we leave now since time is gone?
Yes.
The brochure you say you will put. So
yes,
that's
everything will be put on the platform. Yes, you can.
Okay,
you can. So I'm just staying open just for people who still want more questions. Although let's take one or two. So